Welcome back to Ultimate Challenge, the Nomads Edition. In case you are just joining us, just before the break, the Nomads have just started their journey to an unknown destination that is 400 kilometers away from Loyangalani. Less than 30 kilometers from Loyangalani, the overland truck develops a problem and the journey comes to a halt. One of the sharp Loyangalani rocks decides to forcefully hike a lift between two tires of the Easy Go Safari's overland truck. Emilio Pio and his team skillfully cut short the stone's ambition. They are aware that such a stone could easily rip through a tire to the rim, slowing down or cutting short their journey. It takes them close to half an hour to remove the stone, then the journey continues. This time, the driver drives with a more cautious approach. The scenery along the way is beautiful, and so is the wildlife as they traverse the Marsabit National Park.
One thing I've learned about Loyangalani is being humble. In the sense that the nomads, the real nomads, I can call ourselves the urban nomads. The real nomads are surviving without nothing. They walk kilometers, like 20 kilometers, just look for water. They drink that water, they cook with it, it's just hell. The heat itself, the wind itself also is a problem.
Nilifikiria tunaweza kuwa tunaenda wapi, because place yenye tulikuwa already ni a worse place. So nilikuwa na try kind of kuimagine hiyo place ingine inaweza kuwa aje hell. But nikasema ni sawa.
Inside the truck, as the heat begins to build up, the tired nomads engage in yet another new and very competitive challenge dubbed Who Can Snore the Loudest? Pascal wins this challenge, although there are no rewards for it this time round.
Imagine we woke up at 3 in the morning. All I've had the whole day is water. Water. I've sat the whole, I think around 14 hours of traveling. I thought that I left with when I'm going to my shags, but I'm seeing that it's still happening again. In my mind, I thought that at least I'll see a town somewhere at least where I can even say hi people. But now I've passed through, how they say it, what do you call it? I've passed through the forest, through barren land, where you don't see anybody else. So in my mind, I said to myself, oh my good Lord.
During the lunch hour, each nomad gets a small portion of food they carry, just enough to keep them going. They are careful not to exhaust the reserves. Daniel mixes some powder milk with water in a water bottle and consumes it while Emilio takes his crisps and soda. The long journey plus the heat from the scorching sun frustrates some of the nomads. Washu, for instance, decides to block her window using her Maasai shawl so as not to see where she is going.
So far mimi nitasema nimeachieve a lot kwa among hao watu 6. Juu hii competition haiko venye ina favor anyone anaweza chukua. So mi pangu mi ujiamini. Pangu uamini like sita give up, like wacha nilemewe nione nilifika kikomo. So hivyo tu ndivyo nitafanya, nitatry kuweka mwili kuwe fit. Penye nitaangukia hapo ndipo nguvu yangu imefika.
The sun sets after a 14-hour journey. And having covered about 400 kilometers, the nomads arrive at their destination, Maikona Township.
The trip was insightful. Seeing the different people and seeing I think, to be honest, the best thing I noticed today, I noticed on that day was the sunrise and the sunset. So I saw the sunrise, and in this area it's very visible. It's very, it's the big sunrise and the big sunset. That was my highlight of the day, to be honest.
The nomads alight from the overland truck one at a time to this unknown location. Unload their luggage and are tasked to set up what would be their new home in the cover of darkness yet again.
At some point I looked for positives and I found them during the journey. I remember waking up at some point in the bus and seeing absolute nothingness. I've seen such places on TV, but I've never thought that I'd see them in person like this, under such circumstances. And I figured this is a new experience.
The nomads prepare the grounds for setting up their tents. The location is less windy, but is rocky, so it doesn't give them an easy time in setting up of the tents area as well as the tents.
First, I had cars. Second, I had being confined in the same space. And it was dusty. I woke up at 3 a.m., got to the destination at 9. So that was a horrible experience. That was way over 12 hours of traveling, and it was fatiguing in the sense of the whole ideology of it. So I'd say it was part of the challenge, kind of.
Washu and Rehema struggle against the winds in setting up their tents before Aminio comes to Rehema's rescue.
The biggest difference is, at least here there is no dust because the whole place is rocky. Now the rocks are, the small stones and the rocks are covering the ground, so there is no dust. And also the wind. Here it's just a slight breeze passing by, but in Loyangalani the wind used to be really tough, especially at night. It could really blow until una feel it's like your tent is being carried away. So that is the major difference. Because we've arrived late, so those are just the two things that I've noted so far.
Daniel also gets some free lessons from Ibrahim on how to assemble a tent on such a location. Pascal seems unable to set up his tent, but is unable to openly ask for help.
I thought that we were going to a better place. Why? Because Loyangalani is an extreme area whereby there's too much sand. I mean, there's not sand, there's too much sand. It's very hot. It's very windy. And it's there's stones everywhere. It's not, we can call it an uninhabitable place.
Washu is the first one to finish assembling her tent. Aminio eventually assists Pascal to set up his tent as Rehema holds her torch for them.
Kuna venye nimefind hii place kidogo iko na better options kushinda yenye tulikuwa previous. Because ukicheka floor, kutengeneza floor hii haina mawe kubwa kama kule, ndio kuna mawe mob sana hapa. So kuclear kama unaona kama kule hata ukilala kwa tent ulikuwa unasikia mawe, kuna mawe zingine ziko chini huwezi zitoa. Ulikuwa unasikia, lakini hapa hizi mawe ziko hapa unaweza tu zivuta hivi na panga na ukalala, ukilala huwezi sikia anything kama kuna nini, unaona. Alafu pia hapa hakuna hiyo pepo iko hapa, hauwezi compare na ile ya kule. Ile ya kule ukilala usiku, hiyo mapepo inapiga hiyo tent, hata uwezi ukigutuka tu kidogo unasikia tu mapepo. So ina kutake like another 15 to 10 minutes ndo catch up na hiyo sleep. But sasa hapa naona tu pepo, it's kind of normal.
Washu embarks on some cooking after setting up her tent. Loyangalani's experience comes into play. The nomads set up their tents and support them with stones to survive the windy nights. Daniel once again gets assistance from Ibrahim to set up his tent.
Strategy now is let God deal with it for me. Let him fight on my behalf. I'm at that point where I don't know what to do or how tomorrow is going to turn out or if I'll be at 100%. Where we are now is completely different from Loyangalani.
Once the setup is complete, Ibrahim assists in securing the tents. He soon realizes that the ground is rocky and too tough to allow him to drive in the soft metallic tent hooks. He employs a different strategy by securing them on the tree. Don't go away. Ultimate Challenge, the Nomads Edition, will be right back.